What's good? I'm BT, and I'm just talking about life in general. I talk about various different topics on this channel, but the topic of discussion on this particular video is people that gatekeep. And why am I talking about people that gatekeep? And what is gatekeeping? Gatekeeping to me is essentially people that talk about resources and opportunities, but have absolutely no intention on sharing them with you. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate because, people may gatekeep for the simple fact, they don't want something to get oversaturated or opportunities become less and less. And I get it. In some situations, man. Today, I have ran into a friend of mine, at least I consider him a friend. And the thing about it, the thing with him is, he's always telling me how well his side businesses are doing. And he essentially has a few of them. He got a resale business where he actually get a hold of like off-lease equipment, off-lease laptops, or he may he may go to like a electronics recycler, right? And he buy a pallet of laptops. Now these laptops, they might not have batteries and they may not be fully functional, right? But he has resources in which he can actually like fix these devices up and sell them for a pretty decent profit. And so he's going on and on and on, telling me, how well all these things are doing, and the amount he's getting in the profit margins has been like crazy. He making money hand over fist. Now, this day and age, man, that could be definitely considered as a side hustle, even though considering, depending on like the profit margin he was telling me, meaning that the amount of money that he's making off each device was pretty good. I told him, I said, yo, what I'm saying, that sounds pretty cool, man. You got any extra devices, or, if I could check a few of them out, do anything with them as well, what's the pricing on them and the whole nine. So I know you got to probably make your money on whatever device or whatever laptop, what's the pricing, but the conversation kind of changed. And he's like, it kind of went to like, well, the availability is not, always guaranteed, and all these different things. I gotta make sure that I gotta take care of like all my people first before I can just really like kind of bring you on in. It's like, but the thing about it was everything in the conversation just sounded plentiful. Like everything was free flowing, and I'm making money, and I got this going on, I got that going on. But the minute you ask them for this inside track, it's like the whole thing changed, and they just turn the whole conversation to something totally different. But my point was to kind of bring light on it. It's like, and I get it, because times is tight, and sometimes you don't want to necessarily give your resources out. But if you feel somebody is pretty decent, they won't do anything to like compromise your business, man. Like, why are you offering up the information in the first place? It's kind of disheartening, because it's like you almost kind of like waving money in front of somebody, say, say, look what I'm making, look what I'm making. And then after that, it's like, oh man, like put me on. It's like, nah, it's not, I can't, I can't, I just can't. I got all these things, I gotta make sure that, like all of my people took care of. And it's just like, yo, man, like, why'd you even tell me in the first place? Why even tell me in the first place when you had absolutely no intentions on sharing the resources and sharing the information? And I get it. Sometimes people feel like, well, I took the time. I had to go through the mud. I had to go through these various different struggles, and this wasn't handed to me. And I get it. And some people may feel that way. It's like, you gotta like find this stuff out on your own, right? But it's just like, why offer up information and tell people about your success, and unless you potentially wanted to like share these resources or put somebody in a position where they can win too? Why do that? But people have their own reasons, for just to kind of flex or whatever the situation may be. And years ago, I had a guy that I used to deal with. He was an old DJ. Sometimes he had like laptop issues and whatever. I'm a tech guy, and sometimes I charge him little to next to nothing. Because somebody may not know, may be hard, and what is obviously easy because you had hands-on experience with it. But long story short, man, it was to the point where I really couldn't get to this guy, and I really couldn't help him. But ultimately, I ended up like showing him, like, look, man, like, this is what you need to do. If your operating system like Windows is corrupt, you just might have to just do a hard reset or whatever, and just make sure that you save all your stuff first, and then do the reset, and then everything should operate as brand new, right? And once I showed that man how to do that, man, when I tell you, he, all his friends, all his DJ buddies, everybody that that had a laptop, and if the computer's running sluggish, I showed him how to back everything up. And literally, man, him resetting people's laptops, he was made a little bit of money off of doing that, man. And every time I used to see him, man, and he used to always say, I appreciate you for showing me how to do that, man. That really saved the day for me a lot of times, because if somebody needed a little bit of minor computer work, I was able to make a couple extra dollars, to put in my pocket, I bridged the gap if I didn't really have no money, or if it's between paydays, man. I really appreciate you showing me that. And it wasn't the fact that I didn't want necessarily, I would have been nice to have him as a customer, but in the same token, I would have been doing him a disservice if I couldn't necessarily like get to him all the time and just kind of have him waiting. And if he considered me as a friend, and I showed him time and time again, that I'm willing, to help him with various different things, why would I just kind of gatekeep that information and just have them paying twice as more at a shop or at a Geek Squad or whatever, because you pay for what you don't know. All right. But that's my story. Let me know if you ever been in this type of situation. And yeah, man, I mean, gatekeeping is real. And some people may just offer up information with no intention, the opportunity, and tell you how well they're doing at it with no intentions on putting you on or showing you how to do whatever it is they're doing. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all hearing what I got to say. I hope this made sense. I hope you found some type of value in this. And if don't do somebody a disservice, man. If it's within your means, and if it's not gonna harm your personal brand or what you got going on, don't gatekeep, man. If it's just something like minor, sometimes that thing could really mean the world. You showing somebody something like just little, man, that could mean the world, and that could make that much a difference in somebody's personal life or financial life, right? All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all hearing what I gotta say, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.